Brotherhood of Steel demands your tribute, citizen. You will hand over a portion of your crops to the Brotherhood.
Tribute my ass. We don't owe you anything, so get off my land.
My spot.
Hello there YouTube, and welcome to my first build for this channel, the Mercenary. The Mercenary's in it for the money. He will work for the highest bidder and doesn't care about what their views or reasoning are. As long as he's getting paid, he's happy. The Mercenary is happy to be paid in caps, weaponry or high-tech gear, but will always attempt to get as much out of his employers as possible, even stealing from them if they don't pay enough, or killing them if they don't pay up at all. Before the bombs fell, the Mercenary was, quite unsurprisingly, a mercenary. He would be hired for short contracts throughout the war, often only helping out in specific situations where the army needed a specialist to deal with a certain task. Although he primarily worked for the United States military, he would accept jobs from other countries too, even helping out the Chinese military on occasion. He always kept who he was working for a secret and would never reveal anything that he didn't need to his employers. Working with so many different military factions, he learned many different skills and became one of the most dangerous individuals on the battlefield. Perhaps, if he had been loyal to one side, he would have been able to make a positive impact on the war and affect the outcome. Instead, during a short break between contracts, he was staying at home when the bombs fell and he and his family were rushed to Vault 111. Free strength represents that the Mercenary isn't a weakling, but he definitely isn't particularly strong. His combat effectiveness comes from his extensive training and from the weapons he uses. One perception is mostly justified by the effect of being frozen for 200 years and emerging into a world that's almost incomparable to the one that he left. Plus, the only perception perk we are going for is Rifleman, and we can get the perception bobblehead so early on that it's not worth investing higher just for better accuracy in bats. The Mercenary is a tough guy who can take a beating. To represent this, we give him 5 endurance and then boost it to 6 by using the special book in Sanctuary. If you don't know already, this book is in your old house in Sean's room. The Mercenary is quite the persuasive talker, and this isn't just because he's normally in heavy combat armour and holding a gun. He's naturally charismatic and will use this to get as many caps out of people as he possibly can. 7 Charisma will also allow us to gain access to the Party Boy perk, meaning we can drink as much alcohol as we want to gain a bunch of different boosts. I feel that making the character a bit of an alcoholic added to his charm. He really does not give a fuck. As well as being charming and skilled, the Mercenary is also intelligent. 6 intelligence will allow us to level at a fair speed and give us access to science, allowing for almost all different modding possibilities. 4 agility will give us access to sneak and Mr. Sandman in addition to Gunslinger, which you get no matter what. Although I considered raising agility higher in order to get perks such as Gun Fu, Quick Hands and Ninja, this investment didn't seem to add much to the build, as the extra reload is minimal, you're not purely a stealth character, and low perception means that that's accuracy is poor anyway. The Mercenary has never relied on luck to get him out of a tough situation, and has always been skilled enough to deal with any problem that comes his way. 2 luck will give us Scrounger, which is a great perk for keeping our weapons stocked on ammo, and reducing the number of times you'll need to spend your precious caps to stay in the fight. The essential perks for this character are Gun Nut, Science, Armourer, Rifleman, Gunslinger, Life Giver, Party Boy and Scrounger. Gun Nut, Science and Armourer will give you pretty much all the customization options you need. The only things you're really missing are Blacksmith and Robotics Expert, but you won't really need them. Rifleman and Gunslinger will give you extra damage with your main weapons, which are going to be rifles and handguns. Although Life Giver isn't particularly good in the first 2 ranks, only offering a small health boost, the 3rd rank will give you just constant health regeneration, which is really useful, and I feel is actually quite understated. Party Boy's just to kind of add to the whole aspect of the character. He's a bit of an alcoholic, so he's going to be drinking a lot, and this perk will allow you to just drink a lot. Scrounger is just really good for keeping you stocked up on ammo, and it will also mean you occasionally come across fusion cores, making power armor usage much more justifiable. In addition, the perks that I recommend for this build are Fortune Finder, Sneak, Mr. Sandman, Scrapper, Medic, Aquaboy, and if you get the Luck Bobblehead, Bloody Mess. Fortune Finder is very good for the theme of the build because it just helps you find more caps, and this build's all about just making lots and lots of money. Sneak and Mr. Sandman both just add to the stealth element of this build. Because you're going to be wearing shadowed combat armour, which I'll get to later in the gear bit, you're already quite good as a stealth character. Sneak, as the name suggests, just will make you better at sneaking, and also stops you from triggering traps, which is another thing off of your mind. Mr. Sandman will increase the effectiveness of silenced weapons, and give you quite a cool animation for if you manage to sneak up on a sleeping target and then you can just kill them. It looks quite cool. Scrapper's just going to make it a bit easier for you to mod your weapons. By scrapping weapons and armour that you don't want, you'll be able to get lots of rare and uncommon components. The Medic perk will increase the effectiveness of Stimpaks and Radaway. This means that you just are better at healing yourself, which adds to the overall toughness of this build. The first rank of Aquaboy is a really nice kind of convenience perk, because it just allows you to not be irradiated when you're going into the water, giving you one less thing to worry about. At the second rank, it will make you completely undetectable in water, which is another thing that can add to the stealth element of this build. To put it simply, Bloody Mess is simply just a really nice flat damage perk, which will help you just overall, no matter what weapon you're using. The Mercenary will fight for anyone who pays him and, as such, will drift between the different factions. However, he will very rarely work for the Minutemen, as he views them as a dying group who quite simply just can't afford him. Although he is happy to work for the Railroad in order to have access to some of their tech, he does not care about saving the lives of simps, or anyone for that matter. So he will only keep working for them as long as he keeps getting paid sufficiently. He will help both the Brotherhood and the Institute as he wants to gain access to their technology. The choice of which faction you ultimately side with is up to you, but I suggest going for either the Brotherhood or the Institute, depending on which one you feel gives the better rewards. Due to the roguish nature of this build, it can be difficult to have most companions stick around for the long haul. However, there is one companion who seems to fit almost perfectly for this build, and that is McCready. He has a very varied set of likes and dislikes, but in general he works quite well with the Mercenary, and being a merc himself, it does make sense for the two of them to get along. If McCready doesn't work for you though, you can always use Dogmeat, or your own customisable robot if you have the Automatron DLC. In terms of weaponry, you will want to carry the best rifles and pistols you can lay your hands on throughout the game. Early on you will use the 10mm pistol, double barrel shotgun and a pipe rifle. By mid game you can get a combat rifle to replace your pipe rifle, and you should have a combat shotgun by now. Late game you should have in your possession a combat rifle and shotgun, as well as an assault rifle. In addition, I suggest having a 10mm pistol, laser rifle and Kellogg's pistol for close range executions. Basically, you'll just want the most powerful and versatile weapons you can lay your hands on. Upgrade all of these to their best possible potential, giving them suppressors where available, in order to fully utilise the stealth capabilities of this build. You will be wearing a combat armour chest piece, arms and legs, and underneath that, either army fatigues or military fatigues. I would also recommend wearing the militia hat for the bonus point of charisma, and just for the general aesthetic of the build. All of your combat armour pieces should be shadowed, and I recommend having sleek on the legs, but I will leave the rest of the modifications up to you. The shadowed mod on the combat armour adds a really great aesthetic to the character, and also improves sneaking in dark areas. If you do side with the Railroad, you can potentially upgrade your armour even higher than standard through Ballistic Weave. For power armour, simply make the best set you possibly can and cover all of it in explosive shielding. I went for a full set of Model F T60 with a jetpack and vented legs.